What happened when a family heirloom uncovered a shocking secret? I never thought a dusty old box in my grandmother's attic would destroy everything I believed about my family. But that's exactly what happened. It was the summer after my father died. We were still raw from grief. My mother moving like a ghost around the house. My sister snapping at me for breathing too loudly. All of us struggling to exist in the same suffocating air. The funeral had drained us. And then came the dreaded task sorting through the mountains of belongings that Dad had inherited from his parents. That's when I found it. The attic was a furnace. Dust motes hanging like ghosts in the sunbeams. Cardboard boxes towered over me, some marked with faded black marker. Christmas, tax records, clothes. I was digging through one labeled misc when my hand brushed against something hard, wrapped in yellowed newspaper. I pulled it out and felt a shiver rush down my spine. It was a silver locket, tarnished with age, but still beautiful. An heirloom, the kind of thing my grandmother used to wear in old photographs. I remembered her hand brushing the delicate chain against her throat when she smiled. But when I pried it open, expecting to see my grandparents' portraits inside, I froze. The picture was of my father, younger. But not with my mother. He was with another woman. Her face was half faded, the print old and creased, but I could see enough. A dark-haired woman with striking eyes, holding my father's arm like she belonged there. And there was a child. A little girl. No older than 3. I felt the air leave my lungs. I must have stared at that photo for minutes, my fingers trembling. Sweat rolling down my back from the stifling heat of the attic. The thought lodged in my mind like a splinter. Who were they? Why had this been hidden? Find something? My sister Emily called up the ladder, her voice sharp. I snapped the locket shut and shoved it into my pocket before she climbed up. She'd always been more protective of Dad's memory. The golden child who could do no wrong in his eyes. If she saw this, it would start a war. Just old magazines, I lied, wiping my face with the back of my arm. We finished cleaning that day, but I couldn't stop thinking about the locket. That night, when the house was finally silent, I slipped into my room, locked the door, and opened it again. The photograph stared back at me, an accusation. I needed answers. The next morning, I asked my mother casually about my grandmother's jewelry, testing the waters. She barely looked up from her coffee. Most of it was pawned years ago, after your grandfather died. Why? No reason, I muttered, tucking the locket deeper into my pocket. Her eyes flicked up to me then, suspicious. My mother was many things, but oblivious wasn't one of them. Later that day, when she was napping, I did something I'm not proud of. I went through her drawers. I justified it to myself. I wasn't stealing. I was searching for truth. That's when I found a bundle of letters tied with twine, hidden under sweaters. Old paper, neat handwriting. They weren't addressed to my mother. They were to my father. From her, the same woman from the locket. I sat on the edge of the bed, my hands shaking as I read words that no child should ever have to read about their father. Words about love, about secrets, about promises made and broken. The letters spanned years long before I was born, and even after. But the most shocking letter was the last one. It was short, desperate, written in hurried ink. You can't just walk away from her. She deserves to know who her father is. If you don't tell her, I will. I dropped the letter, my heart hammering. There was another child. My father had another child. A daughter. My sister. And she was out there somewhere. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak in the house felt like an echo of secrets pressing against the walls. I stared at the ceiling, the locket clutched tight in my hand, the letters hidden under my bed. My father had lied. My mother had known. I thought about Emily, about how fiercely she defended Dad, how she wore his legacy like a badge of honor. If she found out. If she knew he'd betrayed us like this. But keeping it to myself felt impossible. The truth was poison burning in my chest. The next morning I broke. I showed Emily the locket. At first she laughed, brushing me off. You think Dad was some kind of secret bigamist? Come on. But then I opened it, and she saw the photo. Her smile vanished. Her hands trembled as she snatched it from me. Where did you get this? The attic. Her face twisted fear, anger, denial all at once. This doesn't mean anything. Could be a cousin, a friend. You're reading too much into it. But when I pulled out the letters, her face drained of color. She read the first one, then the second, then shoved them back at me with a force that nearly knocked me off the chair. You're lying, she hissed. You forged these. You're trying to ruin Dad's memory because you hated him. That's not true, I said, my voice cracking. Emily, look at them. His name is right there. He had another family. Stop, she screamed, her eyes wild. And then, without another word, she stormed out of the room, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. For hours I didn't see her. I paced the kitchen, listening to every car that passed, wondering if she'd left for good. But when I finally heard her door creak open upstairs, I went up, knocking softly. Emily? Can we talk? Silence. Then, through the thin wood, I heard her whisper, If Mom knew about this. Then she lied to us too. The floor seemed to drop out from under me. If my sister was right, then this wasn't just Dad's betrayal. It was hers too. And if they'd kept one secret this big, what else were they hiding? The next day, Emily disappeared. Emily was gone before sunrise. Her bed was made. Sheets tucked tight like she hadn't slept there at all. A mug sat on her knitstand with cold tea still inside. The steam long faded. At first, I thought she'd just stormed off to cool down. Maybe gone for one of her long morning runs. But her sneakers were still lined neatly by the door. Her car keys were gone. Panic settled in my stomach like a stone. I tried calling her, but the call went straight to voicemail. I tried again, and again, pacing in the kitchen until my mother came downstairs. Yawning, her robe tied loosely around her. You're up early, she said, pouring herself coffee. Have you seen Emily? My voice cracked. Mum froze for a fraction of a second, then continued stirring cream into her mug. She probably just went out. You know your sister. She didn't take her shoes, I pressed. And her phone's off. She's fine, Mum said firmly, but her tone was clipped. Too controlled. I wanted to throw the locket and the letters on the table. Demand the truth right there. But something in my mother's face stopped me. The slight tightening of her jaw. The way her eyes flicked toward the clock. Then back to me. She knew. By mid-afternoon, Emily still hadn't come back. I sat on the couch, staring at the front door like I could will her to walk through it. Every sound outside made me jump. When the phone finally rang, I lunged for it. It was Emily. Her voice was hushed, almost frantic. I'm in the city. What? Why? You just left. You couldn't even tell me. I had to, she whispered. I found her. I went cold. Who? The girl in the picture. Dad's other daughter. Her name's Claire. I gripped the phone tighter, nearly dropping it. How do you even know that? The letters. I read them again last night. There was an address in one of them. A return address. I drove there. She paused. She looks like us. My knees gave out, and I sank into the armchair. Emily, wait, don't you think you should have talked to me first? Her voice broke. I needed to see if it was real. If Dad really... She stopped herself. She's alive. She's real. And she knows. Knows what? That he was her father. That he abandoned her. My heart pounded so hard I thought I'd faint. Where are you now? Still with her. She wants to meet you. I swallowed hard. Emily, this doesn't feel safe. We don't know her. We don't know what she's been told. You don't get it. Emily cut me off. She's our sister. We have a right to know her. Before I could respond, the line went dead. That night, Emily didn't come home again. Neither did Mom. The house felt hollow without them, shadows stretching too long across the walls. I sat in my father's old chair, the locket heavy in my pocket, every creak of the house making me flinch. When headlights finally swept across the window near midnight, I rushed to the door. Emily came in first, her face pale, her eyes swollen from crying. Behind her was Mom, tight-lipped and furious. "Where were you?" I demanded. Emily brushed past me without a word. Mum's glare cut into me like a blade. "What did you show her?" I froze. "Don't play dumb," she snapped. "You've been digging. You found something you shouldn't have." "I found the truth," I said, my voice trembling but defiant. Her expression shifted. Just slightly. A crack. Then she lowered her voice. "Some things are better left buried." The room tilted around me. "So it's true? Dad had another daughter?" Mum's silence was louder than any answer. Emily's door slammed upstairs. My mother turned and followed her, leaving me alone in the kitchen, shaking. I wanted to scream, to rip the walls apart until every hidden secret spilled out. But instead, I sat in the dark, the letters spread across the table, reading them over and over until the words blurred. The next morning, Emily emerged looking calmer, almost serene. Too serene. "I'm going back," she said quietly, buttering toast like we were having a normal breakfast. "Back where?" "To Claire. She needs us." "Emily, this is insane." "She's family," she interrupted. "She deserves to know us." "And what about Mum?" I asked. "She's hiding things." "She knew about Claire and never told us." "Don't you see how dangerous this is?" Emily's eyes hardened. "The only danger is letting her keep lying." Then she left again. Hours passed. Evening came. I tried calling her, but again, no answer. My chest burned with dread. I couldn't sit still anymore. I grabbed the car keys and drove to the address from the letter. The one Emily had mentioned. The neighborhood was rough, paint peeling from houses, broken fences leaning like drunks. I parked on the street and walked up to the door, my heart hammering so hard it hurt. I knocked. The door creaked open, and a woman stepped into the dim light of the porch. She looked like me. Same eyes, same sharp cheekbones. A mirror of Emily, only older. "Claire?" I whispered. Her lips curved into a cold smile. "I was wondering when you'd show up." Her voice was soft, but there was something unsettling beneath it. A calculation. I froze on the porch, my hand still half raised from knocking. Up close, I could see the resemblance even more clearly. The arch of her eyebrows, the shape of her jaw. But her eyes, they weren't like mine or Emily's. They were sharp, guarded, watching me like a predator sizing up prey. "Come in," she said, stepping aside. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed at me to run. But curiosity, no. Desperation pulled me inside. The house was dim, cluttered with stacks of newspapers. The faint smell of cigarette smoke clinging to the curtains. A single lamp cast shadows that seemed too long, stretching across the worn carpet. "Emily was here earlier," Claire said, closing the door behind me. "We talked. She's sweet, naive. She believes the best in people. Just like Dad." The word Dad hit me like a slap. "You knew him?" I asked cautiously. Her laugh was bitter. "Knew him? He was my father before he was yours. Until he decided I was a mistake." I swallowed hard. "Did he ever acknowledge you? At all?" She picked up a framed photo from a shelf and shoved it into my hands. It was her, maybe 8 years old, sitting on a swing, grinning. Next to her was my father. Younger, happier, his arm wrapped around her shoulders. I stared at it, my chest tightening. He hadn't just abandoned her. He'd loved her. Once. What happened? I whispered. Claire's expression darkened. He met your mother, and suddenly I didn't exist. The silence between us was heavy. You must hate us, I said. Her lips twisted. Hate? No. Hate is too small a word. Do you know what it feels like to watch from the outside while your father plays house with another family? To see him smile in photographs with daughters who replaced you? I shook my head. She leaned closer. You don't know what it's like to be erased. Something in her tone made me shiver. Before I could respond, the front door opened. Emily walked in, her cheeks flushed, her eyes bright. She looked almost relieved. You came, she said, rushing to hug me. What the hell are you doing here, Em? I snapped, pulling back. She's our sister, Emily insisted, her voice rising. We can't just pretend she doesn't exist. We owe her this. Claire watched us silently, her arms crossed. Emily, think about this, I pleaded. Why do you think Mom never told us? Why do you think Dad hid it? Maybe it wasn't safe. Emily's face hardened. Safe or selfish? Maybe Mom didn't want to share. Maybe she forced him to cut ties. Her words stung, but what scared me more was the way she said forced. Like she was already choosing sides. Claire finally spoke. Your mother knew about me. She made sure he stayed away. I wrote letters, I begged. He promised me he'd come back. But she... Claire's jaw clenched. She won. Emily's eyes filled with tears. She reached for Claire's hand. We won't let her win again. I felt the room spinning. This wasn't just about secrets anymore, it was about loyalty. My sister, the person I'd trusted more than anyone, was slipping away, drawn into Claire's orbit like a moth to a flame. I need some air, I muttered, heading for the door. Outside, the night air was heavy, damp. I leaned against the porch railing, my mind racing. Every instinct told me something was wrong. The way Claire had smiled, the bitterness in her voice, the way Emily looked at her, like she'd found something she'd been missing her whole life. I pulled out my phone to call Mom, but before I could dial, the door creaked open behind me. Claire stepped out, her shadow stretching across the porch. You don't trust me, she said. I didn't answer. That's smart, she continued, her smile cold. Trust gets people hurt. Ask your father. The way she said it made my stomach drop. What do you mean by that? I demanded. She tilted her head. He didn't just leave me. He betrayed me. He promised me a future, then ripped it away. People don't forget that kind of betrayal. Her eyes locked on mine, unblinking. You think you know who your father was, she whispered. But you don't. Neither of you do. And by the time you figure it out, it'll be too late. Before I could respond, Emily called from inside. Come on. We're going through more photos. Claire smirked and slipped back inside, leaving me shaking on the porch. That night I barely slept. Every word Claire had spoken played on repeat in my head. I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't just hurt. She wanted something. The next day, Emily didn't come home again. When I asked Mom where she was, she only said, with her sister. Her tone made my blood run cold. You knew, I whispered. Mum's face was pale, her hands trembling as she clutched her coffee mug. There are things you don't understand, she said. Then make me understand, I snapped. Why didn't you ever tell us? Her eyes filled with something I couldn't quite read, fear, maybe even guilt. She set the mug down carefully, her voice low. Because the truth can destroy families. I leaned forward. Or save them. Mum's hands clenched. Not this truth. And then she said something that made the floor tilt beneath me. Your father didn't just leave Claire. He left something much worse behind. The room went silent after those words. Worse? I whispered. What does that even mean? Mum's eyes darted toward the window, as if afraid the neighbors might hear. She lowered her voice. He made promises he couldn't keep. Promises that ruined lives. Claire wasn't just collateral. There were others. Others? My voice cracked. She pressed her lips together. Your father wasn't the man you thought he was. I staggered back, shaking my head. No, stop. You can't just drop that and expect me to what you even saying. That Dad was some kind of monster. Mum closed her eyes, her voice breaking. He lied. To me. To Claire's mother. To all of us. I wanted to scream. To tear the walls down, until they coughed up every secret buried in the wood. Instead, I clutched the locket so hard the edges bit into my palm. Then why didn't you tell us? I demanded. Her eyes snapped open, brimming with tears. Because you loved him. Because I wanted you to remember him as a good father. Not the man he became. Her voice cracked, and for the first time I saw her not as the composed, unflinching mother I'd always known, but as a woman broken by betrayal. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't nearly enough. Emily deserves to know, I said firmly. Her shoulders slumped. Emily is too much like him. She believes what she wants to believe. If you tell her, she hate me. She already does, I snapped. Something flickered in her eyes, fear, anger, maybe both. I left the kitchen before she could say another word. Upstairs, Emily's room was still empty, her bed untouched. My chest burned with dread. I pulled out my phone and dialed her again, praying she'd pick up. Straight to voicemail. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my keys and drove back to Claire's. The house looked different in daylight. Peeling paint, rusted gutters, weeds curling high around the steps. It wasn't just neglected, it felt wrong. Like the kind of house where secrets thrived in the walls. When I knocked, the door opened almost instantly, like she'd been waiting for me. Claire smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Back so soon? Where's Emily? I demanded. She's here. Claire stepped aside. Emily appeared in the hallway. Her hair messy. Her eyes wide. I'm fine, she insisted before I could say anything. Stop acting like Mom. I'm not a child. I exhaled, relief mingling with anger. You could have at least told me where you were. She invited me, Emily said defensively. Yeah, and you just believed everything she said. Claire's expression hardened. I don't need you to believe me. The truth doesn't depend on you. Something about the way she said it made my stomach twist. I glanced at Emily. Can we talk outside? Alone? But Claire stepped forward, her voice cool. Anything you have to say, you can say in front of both of us. We're family, aren't we? The word family felt like poison. I tried to keep my voice steady. Emily, you don't even know her. We don't know what she wants. What I want. Claire's smile sharpened. I want recognition. I want the life I was robbed of. I want answers. Emily's eyes darted between us. She deserves that, she whispered. I rubbed my temples, my patience unraveling. You're being played. Can't you see that? Her jaw tightened. No. For once, I feel like I'm seeing clearly. Claire watched us silently, her lips curving like she'd already won. That night, Emily didn't come home again. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening for the sound of her car, but it never came. By the next morning, my mother was frantic. She called Emily's phone 12 times, leaving increasingly desperate voicemails. She even drove around town, checking every spot Emily might have gone. Nothing. When she came back, she looked at me with haunted eyes. You went to Claire's, didn't you? Yes. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Then you need to listen to me. Stay away from her. Both of you. Why? I snapped. What aren't you telling me? Her lips trembled. Because Claire doesn't just want family. She wants revenge. The words hit me like ice water. That evening I drove past Claire's again. Emily's car was parked in the driveway. But the house was dark. No lights, no movement. I knocked. No answer. I tried the handle. The door creaked open. Inside, the house was silent. Too silent. The air was heavy. The smell of smoke and dust thick in my throat. My heart pounded as I moved through the rooms. Emily? My voice shook. No reply. In the kitchen, a single photo sat on the table. My father, Claire, and Emily, taken just hours ago. I grabbed it, my hands trembling. Then I heard it. A floorboard creaked upstairs. I looked up, my chest tightening. Emily? I called again. Silence. Then a voice. Low, cold. You should have stayed out of this. The voice froze me where I stood. It wasn't Emily. It was Claire. My throat tightened, every instinct screaming at me to run, but my legs felt rooted to the floor. Where is she? I forced out. Claire's footsteps creaked on the stairs, slow and deliberate. A shadow stretched across the wall as she descended, her eyes glinting in the dim light. She's upstairs, Claire said smoothly. Safe, for now. I clenched the photo in my hand until the frame cracked. What did you do to her? Her lips curved into that same cold smile. Nothing, yet. She's here by choice. But choices have consequences, don't they? I swallowed hard, trying to keep my voice steady. Emily's not part of this. If you want revenge, take it out on me. Not her. Claire tilted her head. That's sweet. Protective. Almost like a real sister. But you still don't understand, do you? This isn't about one person. It's about all of you. She stepped closer, her voice dropping. Your family erased me. Your mother poisoned your father against me. And now I'm going to make sure you all feel what I felt. Forgotten. Disposable. I shook my head. No, you don't know the whole story. Mum told me. Her laugh cut me off. Mum told you what she wanted you to believe. That's what she does. Lies. Manipulates. Just like he did. I felt my grip on the photo loosen. For a second, doubt seeped in. Was Claire right? Had Mom twisted everything? But then I remembered the look in my mother's eyes. The fear when she warned me. And I realized the truth. Both of them could be lying. I took a step back toward the door. I'm taking Emily home. Claire's smile vanished. Try. Before I could react, she lunged forward and snatched the photo from my hands, her nails digging into my skin. I stumbled back, my shoulder slamming into the wall. Emily! I shouted, my voice raw. For a moment, the house was silent. Then I heard its footsteps rushing from upstairs. Emily appeared at the top of the staircase. Her face pale, her eyes wide. Stop, she cried. What are you doing? Claire turned, her expression softening instantly. Don't listen to her, she said to Emily. She wants to drag you back into their lies, back into their control. Emily froze, torn between us. I reached out, my voice breaking. Please. She's using you. Don't you see that? But Emily shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. No, you don't get it. She understands me. She's the only one who... Emily, I screamed, cutting her off. You're my sister. We grew up together. We survived Dad's anger, Mom's silence. We held each other through everything. Don't throw that away for someone who just showed up. Her lips trembled. For a second, I saw the Emily I knew. But then Claire placed a hand gently on her shoulder, and the moment shattered. You've been lied to your whole life, Claire whispered to her. But not anymore. You belong here, with me. Emily's eyes flicked between us, torn. Then she whispered, I can't leave her. The words cut deeper than any knife. I stumbled back, my chest heaving, the world tilting beneath me. My sister had chosen her. Claire's gaze locked on mine, triumphant. Go home. Tell your mother her time is coming. I wanted to fight, to drag Emily out of that house if I had to. But the look on her face, fear, confusion, loyalty tangled into something fragile stopped me. If I pushed, I'd lose her completely. So I left. The drive home was a blur. My hands gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. Every streetlight blurred into streaks of gold through my tears. When I walked through the front door, Mom was waiting. She took one look at me and knew. She's with Claire, I said, my voice hoarse. Mom's face crumpled. She sank into a chair, burying her face in her hands. God help us, she whispered. I slammed the photo frame down on the table, the glass splintering. No more lies. Tell me everything, now. Mum looked up, her eyes red, her voice shaking. You want the truth, she whispered. Fine, but once you hear it, you'll wish you hadn't. She took a deep breath. Your father didn't just have Claire. He made a deal with her mother. A deal that ruined us all. And if Emily stays with her, Mom's voice broke. None of us will be safe. The word deal hung in the air like smoke. What kind of deal? I demanded, my voice sharper than I'd ever heard it. Mom's hands shook as she reached for her coffee mug, though she didn't drink. Before I met your father, he was with Claire's mother, Denise. She wasn't just some fling. She was dangerous. Everyone thought she was charming, but underneath, Mom's voice broke. She had him trapped. Trapped how? Mum leaned forward, her eyes darting toward the window like she was afraid Denise herself might be listening. Money, promises, threats. She used him. And when he tried to leave, she told him he'd regret it. I felt my stomach twist. You're saying Claire's mom blackmailed Dad? She didn't just blackmail him, Mom whispered. She destroyed him. Every time he tried to break free, she'd pull him back in. And then, she used Claire. I froze. What do you mean? She told him that if he left, Claire would grow up hating him. That she'd make sure of it. And he believed her. He tried to walk away, but he always went back. Until he met me. And then, Mom's eyes filled with tears. He cut ties. For good. I shook my head, disbelief crashing into me. And you knew all this? You knew Claire existed and you just kept it from us. Her lips trembled. I wanted to protect you. If you knew, she'd have found a way to pull you in too. My chest ached. And now she has Emily. Mum's silence was answer enough. I stood abruptly, the chair scraping across the floor. We have to get her back. Mum's eyes snapped to mine, filled with raw panic. No, you don't understand. If you push Claire, she'll turn Emily against you. Against me. Against everything. She already has. I shouted. The words echoed in the room, jagged and final. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind racing with images of Emily in Claire's house, smiling at her like she belonged there. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Claire's voice. Tell your mother her time is coming. By morning, I'd made a decision. I couldn't wait for Mom. I couldn't wait for Emily to see the truth on her own. If I didn't act, I'd lose her forever. So I went back. Claire's house looked even worse in the daylight. The porch sagged under my weight as I climbed the steps. I knocked once. Twice. No answer. Then I tried the handle. Locked. I circled around to the back, my shoes crunching over dead leaves. The curtains were drawn, but I caught a glimpse of movement inside. A shadow. Emily? I whispered, pressing my palm against the glass. The shadow froze. Then the curtain shifted, just slightly. For a moment I saw her face. Pale, wide-eyed. And then she was gone. The back door opened. Claire stood there, her arms crossed, her smile sharp. "You don't give up, do you? Where is she?" I demanded. "Safe," Claire said calmly. "Safer than she ever was with you." I stepped closer. "She's not yours." Claire's expression hardened. "She was never yours either. You think you know her because you grew up together? No. You know the version your mother shaped. The obedient daughter. The perfect little soldier. But Emily is more than that. She's strong. She's finally seeing the truth." I clenched my fists. "No, she's scared. And you're using that." Claire tilted her head, studying me. "You sound just like him, you know. Your father. Always trying to play the savior. Always thinking he could fix what he broke." The mention of Dad made my blood run cold. "He broke you," I whispered. Her smile faltered. Just for a moment. Then she stepped back, gesturing inside. "Come in. See for yourself." Every instinct told me not to. But Emily was in there, and I couldn't leave without her. The living room was dim, the curtains drawn tight. Emily sat on the couch, her arms wrapped around herself. She looked up at me, her eyes red from crying. "Em," I said softly, stepping toward her, but she flinched back. "Don't." My heart cracked. "It's me. You don't understand," she whispered. "Claire's telling the truth. Dad lied to us. Mom lied to us. They made him abandon her." I shook my head, tears burning in my eyes. "Emily, listen to me. Maybe Dad wasn't perfect. Maybe he made mistakes. But Claire isn't saving you. She's pulling you into her pain." Emily's lips trembled. For a second, I thought I'd reached her. Then Claire spoke, her voice like velvet. Or maybe she's finally waking up. Maybe she's tired of being lied to. Emily's eyes flicked between us, torn. Then she whispered, "I'm staying here." The floor dropped out from under me. "No, Emily, you can't." She shook her head, her face hardening. "Go home." My chest ached so badly I could barely breathe. But Claire stood behind her, smiling like she'd already won. I stumbled back toward the door, my vision blurring. And just before I stepped outside, Claire's voice followed me, soft and cruel. "Tell your mother the past always comes back. And when it does, it'll burn." I drove home in a haze, the words echoing in my head. The past always comes back. And when it does, it'll burn. Mum was waiting in the kitchen when I staggered in. Her face pale, her hands trembling around a cup of untouched coffee. She didn't need to ask, she could see it in my eyes. "She's not coming back," I whispered. Mum closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. "Claire has her. She chose her," I corrected bitterly. She looked right at me and told me to leave. The silence that followed was unbearable. Finally, Mom spoke, her voice raw. "Then we don't have much time." "What do you mean?" Her eyes snapped open, filled with terror. "Claire isn't just angry. She's dangerous. You think she just wants recognition. But that's not it. She wants to destroy us. All of us, and Emily God, she doesn't see it. She thinks Claire loves her. But Claire only loves revenge." My hands curled into fists. "Then tell me everything. Every single thing Dad did. Everything you hid. If we don't know the truth, she wins." Mum stared at me for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Your father met Denise when he was young long before me. She was magnetic. People fell into her orbit. He told me once it felt like being pulled into a storm. Beautiful, but terrifying. She wanted power, money, connections. And he gave her those things because he loved her, or thought he did. But when Claire was born, Denise changed. She wanted him trapped. She told him that if he ever left, she'd ruin him. She knew things. Secrets about his work, about his family. And she used them. Every time he tried to leave, she threatened to take Claire and vanish. So he stayed. Mom's voice broke and she looked away. Until me. I leaned forward, my heart racing. What made him finally walk away? Her lips trembled. Me. I told him I wouldn't build a life on lies. I made him choose. And he did. He left Denise, and she never forgave him. He tried to stay involved with Claire, but Denise poisoned her. She made sure Claire believed he abandoned them. And when he stopped coming altogether, Claire was already old enough to understand betrayal. Or at least her mother's version of it. I sank back in my chair, the weight of it crushing me. So all her hate, it started with him choosing you. Mum nodded slowly, her voice barely a whisper. And now she's using Emily the same way her mother used your father. My chest ached. Then we have to save her. Before it's too late. Mum shook her head. It's already too late. I slammed my hand against the table. No, don't you dare say that. She's my sister. I don't care what Claire's twisted plans are. I'm not leaving Emily there. Before Mom could respond, headlights swept across the window. A car pulling into the driveway. My heart leapt Emily. But when the door opened, it wasn't Emily. It was Claire. She stepped into the house like she owned it. Her dark eyes scanning the kitchen before locking onto Mum. "Hello, Linda," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "It's been a long time." Mum froze, her face draining of colour. "Get out." Claire smiled coldly. "Not until we talk. Not until you admit what you did." I stood, my pulse hammering. "Where's Emily?" "She's safe," Claire said smoothly. "Safer than she ever be here with your lies." Mom's voice cracked. "What do you want from us?" Claire's eyes glittered. "The truth. In front of Emily. I want her to hear you admit that you forced Dad to leave me. That you stole him. That you destroyed my family so you could build your perfect little one." Mum's hands shook, but her voice was steady. "Your mother destroyed your family, not me. She used you. And now you're doing the same thing to Emily." Claire's smile vanished, her mask cracking for just a moment. "No. I'm giving Emily what I never had. A choice." "You mean control," I snapped. "You're twisting her, just like your mom twisted you." Claire's eyes flicked to me, her expression cold. "Maybe, but at least I'm honest about it." Mom stepped forward, her voice sharp. "Leave my house, now." For a moment I thought Claire might lash out. But instead she leaned closer, her whisper cutting like glass. "You don't get it. Emily doesn't want to leave. She's mine now. And when she finally sees you for what you are, she'll never come back." She turned and walked out, her footsteps echoing down the hall. The door slammed, rattling the frame. The silence she left behind was suffocating. I turned to Mom, my chest heaving. "We have to stop her. Before Emily's gone for good." Mum's eyes filled with tears, her voice breaking. "Then we have to do what your father never could." My stomach dropped. "And what's that?" Her answer was barely a whisper. "Destroy her." The word destroy hit me like a blow. I stared at Mom, my chest tightening. "You can't mean that." Her face was pale, her voice steady but trembling beneath the surface. "It's the only way. Denise ruined your father. Claire is doing the same to Emily. If we don't stop her now, she'd tear this family apart." I shook my head. "She already has." "But Mum, we're not killers." Her eyes locked on mine, sharp and unblinking. "I didn't say kill her. I said destroy her. Take away her power. Expose her lies. Strip her of whatever hold she has." Relief and dread washed over me all at once. And how exactly are we supposed to do that? I asked. Mum leaned closer, her voice low. Claire thinks she controls the story. But there are things she doesn't know, things Denise did. Things I've kept hidden. Evidence. My pulse spiked. Evidence of what? Mum's lips trembled. Of what Denise made your father do. Things that would prove Claire's mother wasn't some tragic victim, but the monster she really was. I sat back, my breath caught in my throat. You've had this all along, and you didn't use it. Her eyes filled with tears. I was protecting you. I didn't want you to carry that darkness. I slammed my hand on the table. Well, now Emily is carrying it. So show me. For a long moment she didn't move. Then, slowly, she rose and walked to the hallway closet. She reached into the top shelf and pulled down a dusty lockbox. She set it on the table between us, her hands trembling as she turned the key. Inside were photographs, letters, newspaper clippings. The first photo made my blood run cold. My father and Denise, standing outside a courthouse, smiling, though the headline told a different story. Local woman accused of fraud charges dropped. Another clipping. Businessman found dead after financial scandal. Handwritten letters. My father's handwriting. Desperate. Pleading. Denise, please, I can't keep covering for you. People are starting to ask questions. I'll lose everything. And Denise's reply, scrawled in sharp ink. If you walk away, you lose, Claire. And she'll know you chose money over her. I pressed a hand to my mouth. Oh my God. Mom's voice was hoarse. She bled him dry. Used him as her shield. Every crime she committed, he covered it up. And when he tried to stop, she threatened him with Claire. He was trapped. I sifted through the papers, my hands shaking. If Emily saw this, she'd understand, Mom whispered. She'd see who Claire really is. What kind of blood she comes from. I froze at that. Mom, don't say it like that. Her eyes snapped to mine, sharp. You don't get it. That woman destroyed your father. And Claire, she's her mother's daughter. She'd do the same if we let her. A chill crawled down my spine. The way Mom said it, like Claire's very existence was poison. I gathered the papers into a pile. Then we show Emily, tonight. But Mom shook her head violently. No, not yet. If you bring this to her now, she won't believe you. She's too far under Claire's spell. We need the right moment. The right proof. Frustration boiled inside me. And what if that moment never comes? What if Emily's already gone? Before Mom could answer, a sound shattered the tension knocking at the front door. 3 sharp raps. We both froze. Don't answer it, Mom whispered. But the knocking came again, louder this time. I crept to the window, peeking through the blinds. My heart stopped. It was Emily. I yanked the door open. She stood on the porch, her hair messy, her eyes swollen like she'd been crying for hours. She pushed past me into the house. I had to get away. Mom rose from the table, tears welling. Sweetheart. Emily's voice cut like a blade. Don't call me that. I don't know who either of you are anymore. Her eyes burned into me. Claire told me everything. About Dad. About you. About how he abandoned her because Mom made him. That's not true, I said quickly, reaching for her. Emily, listen. She pulled back like my touch burned her. I don't know who to believe. All I know is someone's lying. Maybe all of you are. Mom's lips trembled. Emily, please. I can explain. Emily let out a harsh laugh, broken and bitter. Explain? Like you explained why I spent my whole life worshipping a man who was cheating us the whole time. Or why you let us believe we were his only children. Her eyes flicked between us, tears streaming. I don't trust you. Not anymore. Not either of you. And then she pulled something from her bag. The locket. She held it up like evidence in a trial. This isn't just a trinket, it's proof. Proof that Dad lived 2 lives. Proof that everything we thought we knew was a lie. The locket glinted under the kitchen light. The photograph inside visible for just a second. Dad. Denise. Claire. Emily's hand shook. Tell me the truth. All of it. Right now. Or I'm gone. And this time, I won't come back. Emily's demand hung in the air like a blade pressed against our throats. Her hand clenched the locket so tightly. Her knuckles turned white, her eyes burning with fury and betrayal. Tell me, she said, her voice trembling but unyielding. Every secret, every lie. Right now. Or I swear I'll walk out that door and you'll never see me again. Mum's lips parted, her breath shaking. Emily. No! Emily shouted, her voice cracking. Don't Emily me. Don't try to soften it. Just tell me the truth. The room pulsed with silence. My heart hammered so hard I thought my ribs might crack. Finally, Mum's shoulders slumped, her face hollow. Fine. You want the truth. You'll get it. She sank into a chair, her hands trembling as she gestured to the lockbox still sitting on the table. Your father wasn't the man you thought he was. He loved us, yes. But before us he was with Denise, and she was poison. She used him, manipulated him, forced him to cover up her crimes. Emily's brows furrowed. Crimes? Mom nodded, tears spilling. Fraud. Theft. Worse. Every time he tried to walk away, she dangled Claire over his head, threatened to turn her against him. And he stayed. Until me. I made him choose. He chose us. But at a cost. Emily's voice cracked. So he abandoned her. He had no choice, Mom whispered. If he stayed, he would have been destroyed. He thought by leaving, by cutting ties, he was protecting us. Protecting you. Emily shook her head violently, tears streaming. No, that's not protection. That's cowardice. Her words hit like a slap. I stepped forward, my voice low, desperate. Listen. Maybe Dad wasn't perfect. Maybe he made horrible choices. But Claire, she's not telling you the whole story. She's using his mistakes to poison you the same way her mother poisoned her. Emily's gaze snapped to me, filled with rage. You don't know her. You don't know what she's been through. And neither do you. I fired back. You've known her for what? A week? And you're ready to throw away your whole life for her. Her face twisted. Maybe because she sees me. Maybe because she doesn't treat me like a fragile little girl who needs protecting all the time. I staggered back, the words cutting deep. That's not what I've done. Yes, it is, she cried. You and Mum were always deciding what I can and can't handle, always hiding things, always protecting me from the truth. Well, look where that got us. Her chest heaved, tears dripping down her chin. I'm done being protected. I want the truth, even if it destroys me. Mom reached across the table, her voice breaking. Emily, please. Emily ripped the locket open and shoved the photo in our faces. Then explain this. Explain why Dad was smiling with them while he was building a life with us. Explain why he looks happy there. Happier than he ever did here. Mom's face crumpled, her voice a whisper. Because he was lying to all of us. The words seemed to shatter something in Emily. Her knees buckled, and she sank into a chair, the locket dangling from her fingers. For a moment she looked like a child again, lost and broken. I knelt beside her, my hand hovering just inches from hers. I don't have all the answers. But I know one thing. Whatever Dad did, it doesn't define us. It doesn't erase the nights we stayed up talking, the times we held each other when Mom and Dad fought, the way we survived together. That's real. That's ours. Her lips trembled. And what about Claire? She's real too. She's blood. I swallowed hard. So are we. And you don't have to choose her over us. For a heartbeat. She looked at me with those familiar eyes. The sister I'd grown up with. But then her expression hardened again. She's waiting for me, Emily whispered. Mom shot up, panic flooding her face. No, you can't go back to her. You don't understand what she's capable of. Emily stood slowly, clutching the locket to her chest. Maybe I don't, but I need to find out for myself. I reached for her arm. Emily, please. She pulled away, her eyes wet but resolute. Don't follow me. The front door slammed behind her, the sound echoing through the house like a gunshot. Mum collapsed into the chair, sobbing, her hands pressed to her face. I stood frozen, my chest hollow, staring at the door as if she might come back. But she didn't. The silence stretched on, heavy and suffocating. Then Mum whispered something that chilled me to my core. She's not coming back. Claire won't let her. Not alive. The words knocked the air out of me. Not alive? I whispered, my chest tightening. You can't mean that. Mum's eyes were red, her voice trembling but certain. You don't know her like I do. Claire isn't just angry. She's her mother's daughter. Denise ruined your father, and now Claire wants to finish what she started. She doesn't just want Emily. She wants us destroyed. I paced the room, my pulse hammering, the locket's image burned into my mind. Emily's face, caught between fury and grief. She was slipping away and maybe Mom was right. If I didn't act now, she'd be gone forever. I'll go after her, I said, my voice hardening. I don't care what it takes. Mum caught my arm, her grip fierce. If you go alone, you'll lose her too. Claire will twist you just like she twisted Emily. Then what do we do? I snapped. Her hands trembled as she reached into the lockbox, pulling out a final envelope, one I hadn't seen before. She slid it across the table toward me. Your father wrote this before he died. I never showed you because I thought it was just another excuse. But maybe now, it's the only thing that can save her. I tore the envelope open, my hands shaking. The handwriting was Dad's, jagged, uneven, desperate. If you're reading this, it means my past has caught up to us. I'm sorry for everything. I made choices I can't undo. I hurt people I loved. I hurt you. But Claire, she wasn't the mistake. Leaving her was. And now she'll never forgive me. If she comes for you, remember this. She doesn't want the truth. She wants blood. Don't let her have it. Protect each other. Protect your sister. The words blurred through my tears. I clutched the letter like it was a lifeline. Mom's voice cracked. Show her. Let her see who her father really was. Maybe then she'd understand. I didn't wait. I drove through the night, the letter burning in my pocket, the headlights cutting through the dark. Claire's house loomed ahead, its windows glowing faintly. I knocked. No answer. I pushed the door open. Inside, the house was quiet. Too quiet. Emily? My voice echoed. Then I heard it. A muffled cry. Upstairs. I ran, my feet pounding against the creaking stairs. I shoved open the door at the end of the hall and froze. Emily sat on the bed, her wrists bound with rope, her cheeks wet with tears. Claire stood beside her, a knife glinting in her hand. You shouldn't have come, Claire said coldly. My heart lurched. Let her go. Claire's eyes burned. Why should I? So she can go back to the woman who stole everything from me. So she can grow up believing the same lies I did? She's not yours, I said, my voice shaking but firm. She's our sister, and you don't have to keep repeating what your mother did. You can stop this. Her laugh was sharp, bitter. Stop? After what he did? After he abandoned me? After she jerked her head toward the knife, made him choose her over us. I pulled the letter from my pocket, my hands trembling. You want the truth? You want the truth? Here, read it. Claire's eyes narrowed. What is that? His words, I said. Not Mom's, not mine. His. The truth you've been chasing your whole life. I slid the letter across the floor. She hesitated, then bent to pick it up, the knife still in her hand. Her eyes scanned the words, and I saw the flicker, the crack in her armor. Tears welled in her eyes, her hand shaking as she clutched the paper. He said leaving me was the mistake. Yes, I whispered, stepping closer. He loved you. He was weak. He was flawed. But he never stopped loving you. He just couldn't fight Denise anymore. Claire's breath hitched, her face crumbling. For the first time, she looked less like a monster and more like a broken child. Her hand loosened on the knife. It clattered to the floor. Emily sobbed, her voice breaking. Please, Claire. Let me go. Claire looked at her, then at me, the letter still trembling in her grip. Slowly she stepped back. I rushed to Emily, cutting the ropes with shaking hands. She collapsed into my arms, her body racked with sobs. Claire stood frozen, tears streaking her face. Then, without a word, she turned and walked out of the room. The front door slammed moments later, the sound echoing through the hollow house. I held Emily tight, my own tears falling into her hair. I've got you. You're safe. She clung to me, her voice hoarse. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I thought she loved me. She's hurt, I whispered. Broken. But that doesn't mean you have to be too. We left the house together, the night air heavy around us. I didn't know where Claire had gone. I didn't know if she'd be back. But I knew one thing. We had survived her storm. Back home, Mom wrapped us both in her arms, sobbing into our shoulders. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to whole. But as I lay in bed that night, the letter still clutched in my hand. One thought haunted me. Dad's words. She doesn't want the truth. She wants blood. He was right. Claire wasn't finished, and I wasn't sure we'd ever be free of her. That was the night I realized something I'll never forget. Family doesn't just bind you with love. It chains you with secrets. And those chains, they never really break.